This is Robert Kalwa with the news. Let's have a look at the headlines. Leader of opposition wants President Chakwera to order for a forensic audit on the 6 billion kwacha COVID response funds. President Chakwera visits home of the departed minister and MCP Vice President Sidik Mia at Ngabu to condole his family. Attorney General directs that all public officers interdicted without pay be reinstated on government payroll, but legal experts say this is an error. In sports, Nyasa Big Bullets midfielder Mike Mkwate joins South Africa's outfit, Polokwane City. Now the news in detail. Leader of opposition in Parliament, Kwagwanji, wants President Lazarus Chakwera to order for a forensic audit on the alleged abuse of 6.2 billion kwacha COVID response funds. Addressing the media at Parliament in Lilongwe Thursday afternoon, Nkhani said the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 does not have the capacity to investigate the allegation, hence the call. As we hear in this report filed by Winston Kaimila, the leader of opposition has threatened to resign from the committee if his demands are not met.
For the first time, leader of opposition in Parliament, Kwagwanji, has come in the open to speak on the alleged abuse of funds meant for the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. During a media briefing at Parliament in Lilongwe, Nkhani said reports presented to the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 show that millions of kwacha were abused in local councils such as Msanje, Zomba City, Chiradzulu and Lilongwe District Council.
It seems money has gone down the drain, and there is great need that a forensic audit being instituted to make sure that we get the gist of the matter than speculating, so that after doing that, if there are any other pointer, say that such a person or an individual misused public funds, then time after that, the law can take its course.
He said as it stands, President Chakwera needs to order the Office of the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit on the alleged abuse of 6.2 billion kwacha COVID-19 funds. Nkhani said the Presidential Task Force on the pandemic does not have the mandate as well as capacity to investigate alleged abuse of funds, hence his call.
The capacity within the task force, the 10 or 12 or us, no one can have the capacity on his own to do the auditing. It's better that we have a team, we have an institution that is going to, like National Audit Office, that is going to audit the accounts.
The leader of opposition in Parliament, who was accompanied by chairperson of the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Yusuf Ntenda, and Dr. Matthews Ngwale, who is the chairperson for the Parliamentary Committee on Health, cautioned he would consider resigning from the Presidential Task Force should the government not institute the investigation. Nkhani, who said he addressed the press as both leader of the opposition and a member of the Presidential Task Force, proposed that the forensic audit should cover expenditures in both former President Peter Mutharika's regime and the current administration. Currently, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 is analyzing reports from various government bodies on the way they managed the funds. This is Winston Kaimira for Zodiak in Lilongwe.
Meanwhile, we sought reaction from government spokesperson Gospel Kazako, and this is what he told us.
Well, I think it will not be a wise thing for us to comment on what the Honorable Leader of Opposition has said, because one, the Honorable Leader of Opposition is a member of the Presidential Task Force, and for us to start commenting on these things when he was there and he's part of the entire equation, I think that's not good enough. But secondly, we also are looking at this issue as a very, very important issue to how Malawi is going to move forward. Very important and very crucial. And we would not want to drag in politics of any general nature. Because once we start politicizing this exercise, then I think we are going to confuse the entire matrix. We don't want that to happen. What Malawians must know, this government is very committed. We know that there is suspicion that the 6.2 billion has not been spent well. It is in the interest of this government to make sure that Malawians know the truth. We are actually very, very glad, very pleased that Malawians have now started to participate. They have now started to ask questions. They have now started to have an interest to know what's happening with their resources in government. This is what we expected. This is what we believe in. This is part of our DNA as a government.
Remaining 3 clusters under the COVID-19 Response Initiative have submitted their expenditure reports of the 6 billion kwacha funds on Thursday. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 is now reviewing all expenditure reports to develop a consolidated report for presentation to President Chakwera. And Lafi Mlamba has compiled this report.
On Thursday afternoon, the Task Force on COVID-19 continued with business, hearing from remaining 3 clusters, namely defense, water and sanitation, and the lead cluster, Dodma. The 3 were sent back yesterday, Wednesday, as they were deemed to have presented unsatisfactory expenditure reports. This was the 3rd day of the proceedings, which commenced on Tuesday following a directive by President Lazarus Chakwera earlier on Sunday. The task force will now submit a consolidated expenditure report to President Chakwera, who promised to make the report public. The public is demanding accountability of the resources meant to fight a pandemic amid fears they may have been abused. We are hearing the bulk of the money went to allowances.
President Lazarus Chakwera on Thursday went to the home of his former minister and MCP Vice President Sadiq Mia at Ngabu to condole his family. Mia succumbed to COVID-19 on January 12th, 2021. Late Mia's nephew, Lias Karim, told us the president's visit was delayed because 3 of close family relations that also tested positive for coronavirus. State House said the visit was private. An epidemiologist, Dr. Titus Divala, has observed that the country is seeing a downward trend on COVID-19 cases, but once we are out of the woods, we are not out of the woods yet. Dr. Divala says the number of those testing positive out of 100 was very high, above 30, but this is no longer the case at the moment. This report by Alfred Guta.
An epidemiologist, Dr. Titus Divala, says Malawi is on the right path in containing COVID-19 pandemic, noting that positivity rate has gone down. Dr. Divala has noted that this was not the case before, saying the country is now experiencing a decline of new cases. But are we there? Dr. Divala paints a picture.
From the look of the trend of the daily new cases, we have had a very steep rise and are now experiencing a steep slope. This resembles a situation where the disease has had all the opportunity to spread very fast and encounter most individuals in our society. Essentially, we have allowed the disease to attack everyone it wanted. And if you can put it together, essentially as a society, what this means is that from a scientific perspective, we have failed to control its spread. We have not followed the measures, and those who are supposed to implement the measures have not really managed to do so.
Dr. Divala has underscored the need to protect those that have not had the virus from the infection. He has, however, faulted the government for being casual in enforcing COVID-19 preventive measures, calling for mandatory mask wearing and banning all non-essential gatherings. The second wave of COVID-19 hit the country hard, as evidenced by a surge in new COVID-19 cases and deaths. For Zodiak in Blantyre, this is Alfred Guta reporting.
The country's graft-busting Body Anti-Corruption Bureau says it has moved in to probe utilization of resources dispersed to councils towards procurement of cloth face masks for the prevention of COVID-19 pandemic. ACB spokesperson Egrit Ndala says tracking the procurement of the face mask will help in ensuring that councils are operating in a transparent manner. Adam Zundaningi reports.
According to a letter addressed to district commissioners and chief executive officers of city councils and municipalities signed by Anti-Corruption Bureau's Deputy Director General Elia Bodoli, the Bureau is expected to track utilization of resources disbursed to councils towards the procurement of cloth face masks for prevention of COVID-19 pandemic. SAB Senior Public Relations Officer Egrit Ndala told us Thursday morning that the graft-busting body's intervention is part of its mandate as stipulated in the Corrupt Practices Act, Section 10, Subsection 1A, and also a Memorandum of Understanding signed with Minister of Local Government and local councils in 2019. Ndala added that monitoring the procurement of cloth face masks will help to force councils to conduct themselves in a corrupt-free manner.
Our mandate is, one of them is prevention of corruption. We want to help them to make sure that they conduct their activities in a corrupt-free manner, so that the resources that are internal to them are used for the intended purpose.
On his part, a renowned governance expert, Wanda Mkuche, has described the Bureau's decision as a milestone in preventing abuse of public resources.
If FCT is going to follow up on these funds, it will make sure that there were some who wanted to abuse the resources, they will not do it. The money is going to be used rightly, and then the masks are going to be distributed to Malawians who need them most.
For ZBS News, this is Adams Clement Undani.
Attorney General Chikosa Silungwe has directed the Department of Human Resource Management immediately reinstate on the government payroll all public officers that were interdicted without pay. In a memo dated February 4 and copied to the Accountant General that we have seen, the Chief Government Legal Advisor says regardless of the circumstances that led to the interdiction of the officers, interdiction without pay is illegal. But other legal experts we have spoken to are suggesting the AG has erred. Daniel Mibawa explains.
We're still digging more into this memo from the Attorney General Chikosa Silungwe, which we have seen last night. The memo is dated 4th February 2021, and it's been sent to the Director of Human Resource Department in government and copied to the Accountant General. The Attorney General is claiming in that memo that his office has been receiving communication from various law firms representing public officers who are on interdiction without pay. And essentially, they have been requesting that their clients, who are public officers, be reinstated back on the payroll. But this morning, we have been getting several reactions from respected legal experts and analysts and former judges, actually. And they seem not to agree with this position taken by the Chief Government Legal Advisor on this matter. What we are getting is that interdiction without pay is actually legal and is provided for in the Malawi Public Service Regulations. And it indicates in that provision that if your interdiction is in relation to loss of government money, then it may be interdicted actually without pay. But we're also getting a confirmation that the regulations, however, provide that for some other cases, such as assault and others, you can be interdicted but still get your pay. But specifically on relating to loss of government money, actually interdiction without pay, far-reaching, because we know there are dozens and dozens of public officers who are on interdiction without pay. What this essentially means is that they have to be paid. Just for example, as I speak now, we have over 70 public officers who are answering cases relating to Cashgate, for example. And what this communication essentially means is that all of them have to be paid and in arrears.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
Now there's a better, safer, user-friendly and affordable disinfectant you can trust. Introducing Safe Surface Disinfectant from Ethco. This is a liquid-based surface cleaner that can kill 99.9% of germs and viruses, including the coronavirus. Disinfect your offices, shops, education and religious institutions, and your home with Safe Surface Disinfectant. Safe Surface Disinfectant for a cleaner and safer surface in just one go. Ethco, that's the spirit.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Precious things have a secret formula. While John is busy trying to impress, James discovered Tangu's secret. Tangu uses Purity sanitary products from Purity body wash, Purity hands wash, Purity body lotion to Purity dishwash. After a week of using Purity sanitary products, James won the heart of Tangu. Use Purity sanitary products.
Amalawanzanga, kodi mukudziwa chiyani za lamulo lomwe limaumiriza adindo osankhika kuwulula zachuma, ngongole komanso mabizinesi omwe ali nawo? Lamuloli limathandiza kuti adindowo agwire ntchito mokhulupirika, motsata ndondomeko komanso mosabisa kuti asazikundikire chuma mwachinyengo. Ndi udindo wathu a Malawi kuonetsetsa kuti adindo sakupindula mosayenera ndi maudindo ndi ntchito zaboma zomwe ali nazo, ndipo kuti sakugwiritsa ntchito maudindo omwe ali nawo molakwika. Dziwani zambiri za Audipod komanso zomwe adindo aulula ku bungweli pofunsa ku maofesi a bungweli ku Catholic Secretariat Area 11 ku Lilongwe. Muthanso kudziwa zambiri za bungwe la Audipod ku maofesi a bungwe la NICE omwe muli nawo pafupi. Tengawo ukukufikani kuchokera ku Office of the Director of Public Officers Declarations, Audipod.
Welcome back, and this evening you're with me, Robert Kalua. Before we continue with the news, let's take another look at the top stories. Leader of opposition wants President Chakwera to order for forensic audit on the 6 billion kwacha COVID response funds. President Chakwera visits home of the departed minister and MCP Vice President Sidik Mia at Ngabu to condole his family. Attorney General directs that all public officers interdicted without pay be reinstated on government payroll, but legal experts say this is an error. In sports, Nyatsa Big Bullets midfielder Mike Mkwati joined South Africa's outfit, Polokwane City. Moving on with the news, the Association of People with Albinism, APAM, has asked government to fulfill its promise of appointing a chairperson for National Technical Committee to oversee completion of investigations into attacks on people with albinism within the first 100 days of the Tonse administration. In a press statement, APAM President Ian Simbota says the organization has given President Lazarus Chakwera 30 days ultimatum to address the issues that are affecting people with albinism. This report by Gift Du Pimba.
According to a statement signed by President for the Association of Persons with Albinism, Ian Simbota, there are minimal efforts by government to address issues affecting its members in the country, citing President Lazarus Chakwera's silence on their concerns. Simbota has therefore asked President Chakwera to appoint a National Technical Committee on Persons with Albinism in Malawi. Failing to do so, APAM will withdraw its membership from the committee. The association has also demanded that the Department of Disability should be a standalone ministry, accusing the Ministry of Gender of not showing much interest on the issues, like failing to investigate illegal markets of persons with albinism body parts. They are also calling for police to release a report of Blair Lule, who died in police custody. Ian Simbota is APAM's president.
Since the president came into power, there is absolutely nothing that he has done, absolutely nothing that he has said on his plans on how to enhance security for persons with albinism. And I remember during the campaign time, Dr. Chakwera had promised that he's going to end the attacks against persons with albinism in a month. But now we are getting into the 8th month thereabout, and yet there's nothing that he has done. Wondering to say, has the month not erupted on his part?
The association has therefore given President Chakwera a 30 days ultimatum to address their concerns raised, failing which they will take unspecified action. Presidential Press Secretary Brian Banda has asked for more time before commenting on the issue. Gift Du Pimba, ZBS, Nchisi.
The Public Affairs Committee PAC has backed government's stand to proceed with the rollout plan of the COVID-19 vaccine. It has since warned that it will reprimand religious groups that will preach against the exercise. PAC spokesperson Bishop Gifford Matonga has told Zodiak in an interview that all religious groupings have been consulted on the vaccine rollout plan. Steve Zimba reports.
Spokesperson for the Public Affairs Committee, Bishop Gifford Matonga, has told us that the quasi-religious body has already engaged government and its members on how to reach out to their followers with messages of the COVID-19 vaccine. Minister of Information Gospel Kazako is on record to have said government will not force its citizens to access the vaccine, saying misconception surrounding its negativity is empty. Public health expert Dorothy Ngoma says government should go flat out with messages that will clear misunderstandings which some people have on the vaccine. Government of Malawi will start receiving Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine this February, and first jabs to frontline workers and those with health conditions, among others, will be given from March this year. For Zodiac, this is Steve Zimba reporting.
We now move on to sports. Nyasa Big Bullets midfielder Mike Mkwate has joined South Africa's national first division outfit, Kwagwanji City, in a 2.5-year deal. The club's chief administration officer, Albert Chigoga, confirmed the development, saying they agreed terms with the second-tier outfit, and the midfielder is expected to leave the country tomorrow, Friday. Financial terms of the deal have not been disclosed. Bright Kanyama has filed a report.
Nyasa Big Bullets ace Mike Mkwate is expected to leave the country tomorrow, Friday, after completing a move to South Africa's national first division outfit, Kwagwanji City, on a 2.5-year deal. The People's Team's Chief Administration Officer Albert Chigoga confirmed the development, saying Mkwate has moved to the rise and shine side at an undisclosed fee, but emphasized that the club has profited from the transfer. He added that the move has shown that the People's Team is able to attract international clubs.
This is very encouraging news. We are very happy that players are now finding opportunities to play professional football in other countries. It means there is talent in Malawi. Our players are being seen. And for Mkwate to be signed by Kwagwanji City, it's great news to us as Nyasa Big Bullets, and I believe it's also great news to Malawi as a nation.
The 23-year-old becomes the fourth player from Bullets to attract international outfits in the past 2 years, following Charles Petro and Peter Banda, both at Moldovan outfit FC Sheriff, and Precious Sambani, who is undergoing trials at Golden Arrows in South Africa. Mkwate signed for Bullets in 2016 from Wizards FC and guided them to 2 league titles and a cup. For Zodiac, this is Bright Kanyama.
Well, that items brings us to the end of our newscast, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. Leader of opposition wants President Chakwera to order for forensic audit on the 6 billion kwacha COVID response funds. President Chakwera visits home of the departed Minister of MCP, the departed Minister and MCP Vice President Sidik Mia at Ngabu to condole his family. Attorney General directs that all public officers interdicted without pay be reinstated on government payroll, but legal experts say this is an error. In sports, Nyasa Big Bullets midfielder Mike Mkwate joins South Africa's outfit, Kwagwanji City. Visit our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. And remember to wash hands regularly with soap to curb the further spread of the coronavirus. My name is Robert Kalua. Thanks for watching.
Nkhani yabwino kuchokera ku